and welcome to a brand new season of the MotoAmerica Championship. For the first time in 2025, we are here at the racetrack for the Daytona 200. We have 4 different classes that are going to take to the racetrack here this weekend at the World Center of Racing. Welcome to the preview show here on MotoAmerica Live Plus. I am Jamie Howe, joined all season long by Roger Hayden, and it's going to be an exciting season here. Roger, 4 different classes I mentioned that we're going to have on the track here at Daytona. What are you most looking forward to get things started?
I think the biggest thing is just new riders and new classes, and also some of the younger riders are moving up classes as well. So it's always cool to see how these kids do as they progress throughout their career, and then also watching guys kind of move around to new teams and new bikes this season.
We have a lot of familiar faces that we're going to have at the racetrack here this season as well. None other than Kyle Wyman joining us here on the preview show. Welcome back for a brand new season. When we were here last, you won both of the races here at Daytona and King of the Baggers.
I did. Yeah, it's when you win both races last year, the expectation's pretty high, but we're looking forward to it. A little bit of a chilly morning, as everybody can see, but we'll get some heat in the tires and check out this new chicane. Big story.
She mentioned some new year, new bike, new riders, but also there's some more competition this year in the King of the Baggers class with some guys moving over to race that this year. How does that change your approach going into this season?
I don't know if it changes my approach too much. I think what it does do is it makes a bad day worse. If you got more guys at the front, if you have a rough weekend, you can lose more points than you might have beforehand. But it's really the same mentality. We had a really close fight last year. We came up a little bit short, but had it continued on, we might have kept trading blows all the way till who knows when. So we'll just pick it up where we left off. Points are back at 0 again, so we'll fight for it. And Harley-Davidson Factory Racing by DynoJet this year, new title partner. They've got some tricks here, and I feel good about where our bike's at.
You alluded to it there just a moment ago about the new chicane, the Le Mans chicane, the new pavement, the higher curbing. You've won 3 of the 6 Mission King of the Bagger races here, but you said big story, new part of the racetrack. How do you go into a weekend with changes like that?
Just putting your focus on it, trying to be as prepared as possible. I think it's going to be a lot slower, so it could actually change gearing. It could change your approach. There's things like you're going to have to cross the seam now in order to get the thing pointed to come out of there. You can't take those curves anymore, so it's going to slow it down quite a bit, and everybody's going to have to learn it.
Speaking of going into this year, the last couple years, you've been in that title fight all the way till the last round. Just a couple little mistakes seems like it's kind of cost you and the team the last couple years. How do y'all go into this season and clean those up?
Yeah, I mean, from the team side of things, right, the one mistake we had was our, that clutch issue we had at Brainerd where we had to roll around in the back. That was a big one. But we scored points in every race, and I think, if you look just at my point total for the year and how, where I was all year, you might say I was champion, but Troy and I went back and forth so much, and he was able to edge me out. So really the mentality is not that different. Clean up a couple things, but honestly I'm pretty happy with how we were able to put together the whole season last year. We just need to be a little bit better.
Yep.
It all started off here at Daytona last year as well. Let's take a look back at the last time we were out on the racetrack.
Yeah, this is race 2. We talked about Kyle winning race 1, so here we go. Troy Herfoss there on pole position with a really good start there. His teammate Tyler O'Hara also really good start. You can see early on into this race, everyone is just kind of filling each other out. You see Kyle there moving his way into the lead there in the chicane. That's part of the track Jamie's talked about. It's a little bit different this year. You see Troy Herfoss there. He will get a good run with Kyle, trying to get a good run out of the chicane. Kind of a carbon copy of that first race. These two guys going back and forth. You see Kyle making another move, and now we got 4 guys. You see Hayden Gillum also able to work his way into this lead group. It looked like a 2-rider battle early on, but you can see the draft. James Spoli also able to get into the mix. You can see 3 wide. All these guys are trying to figure out where they want to be the last lap. You see Troy Herfoss playing a little bit of games there with Kyle Wyman. Did not want to lead out of the chicane. Kyle went ahead, took the lead, was able to hold on across the finish line, get both wins, starting out the year with a double.
It's a great way to start out that year. But Kyle, one of the things that's unfolded over the last couple of seasons, these bikes are still very much in development phase. They're essentially still prototypes. The bags. I know last year there were some developments with aerodynamics and the bag starting to lean back a little bit, make them a little more aero efficient. That's changed for this year. How will it be different here at Daytona?
For our bike, it's not a huge difference. I think it's more of a definition of the rules, and I think it's just something to clarify things. I think it affects the other bikes more than it does ours, but aero is a big deal here, and we've been working to try to massage things every bit that we can to try to get that big fairing as slippery as possible.
When we look at the rest of the season, here's where we will see Mission King of the Baggers. They have 2 rounds of competition, of course, here at Daytona this weekend. 2025, though, we'll also see them out at Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta, followed by Road America. We'll go to WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca in the middle of the summer, followed by Mid-Ohio, Circuit of the Americas, and then wrapping up the championship at New Jersey Motorsports Park. It's a little bit of a shorter season for Mission King of the Baggers this year. That means that every round matters more. Kyle Wyman, thank you for taking the time and joining us today, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. It's good to be racing again. Let's go.
That's right. Let's move on to Mission Super Hooligans. Roger, this was race 2 last year.
Race 2, and one of the best races of the weekend. See there, Travis Wyman with a great start. A couple of the Harleys there able to get out front. Cody Wyman also with a really good start. You see Troy Herfoss there early on. And this battle was just, you can see guys making moves into the chicane each lap. But the Super Hooligan class that season has really had a lot of riders move up and a lot of teams, and it was a tough battle. You can see right here we had 6 or 7 riders just going back and forth each lap. The draft was huge. Cory West also there, kind of checking his gearing, seeing where his bike was in the draft at the start-finish line. And from here, it was just a battle. All these guys battling back and forth, trying to position themselves where they want to be on the last lap. You see them getting kind of aggressive early on there to try to put themselves in the spot to be able to make that draft. And Cory West, look at that, such a close finish, was able to get the win.
You saw the excitement there out of his wife, Patricia, as she ran over to greet her husband there after that win. Cory, thanks for joining us here for the preview show. You left Daytona as a race winner. You came back through the gates this morning as a champion. What's different?
Yeah, the #1 plate. That's what's different. It's a good feeling. I love coming here to Daytona, even though it's a little bit cold this morning. I know the weather's going to get better this weekend. So yeah, just happy to be here with the Saddlemen team, and stoked to have that big #1 plate and be riding the baggers again this year.
Going into the season, you talked about having that #1 plate, which also means you kind of have the target on your back going into the year. How does that feel?
It's something I've never experienced before. I definitely feel it. I mean, even as soon as we got to Roebling Monday and Tuesday for testing, it's everybody that was my friend last year is treating me weird now. So it's a different feeling, but the pressure is a privilege, and I'm stoked to be carrying the #1 plate, and I look forward to trying to keep it this year as well.
You had a big off season, not only as enjoying that championship, but you and your wife Patricia having Avery and getting to go through this first couple of months together. How do you feel different coming into a race season this time?
I'm a dad now, so learning how all that works has been trials and tribulations, but it's a beautiful thing, having a kid. My beautiful wife, she's doing amazing as a mother, so yeah, it was probably the quickest off season I've had ever. One of my contractors was like, "Yeah, you're going back racing again? How long was that?" I was like, 5 months. I had my kid on my chest, So he's 5 months old. He popped out right after Coda, after we won the championship. So yeah, I've actually had a few days without the family to switch the brain to race mode. So yeah, I'm just kind of thinking about my job right now, but the wife and kid are going to be here later today, so I'm happy to see them as well.
The Saddlemen team has made a huge stride in the Super Hooligan class last year. Where's the team been able to find all that speed? Not only you riding up front, but also your teammate.
Yeah, I mean, we had 1 year of development on the bike, and then the rules changed a little bit, and that kind of gave us a little bit more power and made the bike a lot easier to ride. But the Saddlemen guys, they really went to work over the winter, and they shed some weight off that thing and got simple little things like the quick shifter working. And once I tested that thing, I was like, man, this bike's way easier to ride now with the quick shifters. So, it's just the details, man, just finding the little things that makes the bike easier to ride. So, giving us a lot of good support. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and our baggers are a lot better too. So that was a struggle as well last year. So I think we've got a good package this year. I'm stoked.
We take a look at the schedule of Mission Super Hooligans, when we will see them out at the racetrack. Of course, 2 races here this weekend at Daytona. We're going to find them back out in May at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, then going up to the Ridge Motorsports Park for 2 races, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca for 2 races, and then the championship will wrap up this season at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. So 5 different rounds, 10 different races. There's so much competition, Cory, this season. Here at Daytona, we've been split into 2 different qualifying groups. Having that number of bikes out on the racetrack, how will it change things?
You know, they're putting 2 groups out there, so that kind of gives us a little breathing room out on the racetrack. But, you know, I've ridden the 200 in the past where there was like 60-plus riders on the grid. So it's just another thing you got to deal with here at Daytona. Luckily, this place is really big, and you've got some room to move. But, yeah, it's just a 6-lap race, so I don't think the lappers are going to be an issue or anything. So my objective is the same, just try to stay in that lead pack and be smart and put myself in the right place at the right time.
Doesn't matter how many bikes are out on the racetrack. Only one of them has the number 1 plate. That one belongs to you. Good luck this weekend. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right.
All the right moves from the beginning of the race. And now, Greg, when you think that there might be a chance of fuel, he is going to short shift this thing around the banking and know that he's going to make it home. And there's probably not a better feeling in the world than knowing that you're going to be, is this 3?
This
Three
is
times
3
for the Daytona 200 for Josh Herrin as he comes off turn 4 banking.
He won it in 2010. He won it last year. And now for Josh Herrin, the number 2, he wins again at the Daytona 200 and takes the checkered flag.
A back-to-back winner is Josh Herrin here for the Daytona 200, 3-time winner overall, but has the opportunity this weekend to go for 3 in a row. It is a feat that has never been accomplished. Josh joining us now here this morning. When you think about what you are able to do this weekend, what you're capable of doing this weekend, how do you approach it?
Oh, I think just like any other weekend. You know, I'm just trying to really be calm about everything and just treat it like I did the last couple and just try to have fun like we've learned in the last couple of years. It's all about having fun and surrounding myself with the right people. Being 4 years on this team now has been amazing, and it's cool because most of the time, you know, 90% of the time you're saying, 4 years on the team, we expect him to get some results this year, but it's been a lot of good results for us on this team, so we've really just hoping to keep that ball rolling and make it better.
What makes you so strong talking about going into this weekend? I mean, the opportunity to win 4 Daytona 200s. I mean, that's going to put you in a group with not very many people at all to win more than 2. What makes you so strong coming into the Daytona 200?
I'd like to say all the tests that we've done, but we've only rode once. Or actually, I guess we've rode twice. But I think it honestly just goes back to what I say all the time. I know I sound like a broken record, but just being in the right spot at the right time with the right people. It's to me, that's always been the most important thing, is the people that I have around me, and it's taken me a lot of years to really understand how to put that together. And Bobby is, you know, not everybody's favorite person in the paddock, but when he's your guy, he's your guy, and he understands that, and everybody on the team is the same way, and he's just going to support you no matter what. So I think that's just the most important thing, and we obviously have a great bike. The V2 is great, the V4 is great, and Superbike, and I got a lot of confidence coming in here just because I just feel like this is my place. I was thinking about it last night. Barry from Celtic asked me, how many times have you raced this race? And I was thinking, like, well, I've been, you know, racing professionally now. I think this is my 20th season or 19th season. And, you know, I was adding up, it's got to be a lot. And I was like, well, it's actually only been 8. So we've been able to win 3 out of 8. And one of them we ran out of fuel. So it's almost a 50% win rate. So I feel like I got to come into it, like, with a little bit of extra confidence just for myself, because I feel like I've earned it. And that helps. You know, you're not going into it almost like how you would with training, right? Like, oh, I didn't do enough. That guy probably did more. Like, I feel like coming in Daytona, it's like I'm the person that's, you know, done really well at this track, and I got to just use that to help pump myself up a little bit. So
You talk about all the time that you've put into this sport. Let's take a look at some of these numbers that you've been able to put together. 4 AMA class championships, 2-time Superbike champion now as the reigning Superbike champion, 53 all-time race wins.
Yeah, that's cool. Like I always, like, randomly every once in a while will ask Sean Bice, because he's like the statistic guy, right? I'm like, hey, do you know where I'm at, like on the win list? Because I see like Cam obviously has a crazy amount, Hayes has a crazy amount, but race wins have always, I don't know, it's still to this day, like I'm pumped when I get a race win. So seeing it just slowly climb is cool, and yeah, it's just fun, man. It feels like the first year for me right now, and I'm just hoping to keep going.
All those race wins, they culminate into championships. Let's take a look at this ride to the championship, Roger.
Yeah, this is race 1 last year in New Jersey, and the Superbike title was up for grabs for Josh in this race, but it was not going to be easy. You see the Yamaha guys there leading on early on. Paasch, Josh's teammate, also there in the top 3 early on into this race. A couple mistakes there by Cam Peterson early on, and it kind of looked like the Yamaha guys were going to kind of pull away. You see Bobby Fong also really fast last year. He's kind of working his way toward the front, but you see Josh right there in 5th spot as this race was winding down, starting to make a couple moves toward the front. You see Bobby there making a move. Now you see Bobby making another move. This same corner, turn 5, was Bobby's spot. Paasch also able to use the power of the Ducati up the front straightaway and make the move back on these guys. And you see Josh Herrin there moves his way into 2nd, just slowly creeping up as this race was starting to wind down. Going to make a move on his teammate down into turn 1, was able to make it stick. You can see these 3 were slowly starting to break away a little bit from Cambobier there in 4th, but Josh Herrin got out front. Bobby Fong was not going to make it easy, wanting to get another race win, makes a move down into turn 1. You see Josh just setting himself up, looking behind him, knowing that he's in control of this race. Down into turn 1 seemed like was Josh's spot, and from there he was able to hold on, not only get the race win, but also clinch the title.
See the celebration, it's the pump of the fist, it's everything that came down to making that championship come to light. And Josh, obviously we're not into the Superbike championship season quite yet. We don't get there until April, but what stage are you at right now? Is still enjoying that title or getting ready for the next one?
Well, we haven't rode the Superbike yet, so I'm, I'll let you know a little bit better answer whenever we get on it. But I think we got some good confidence. Like I said, it's 4 years now on this team, 3rd year on the Superbike, same bike. And I feel like we just have the opportunity to keep growing and getting better. Like you saw, I would love to have those years like Bobier or Hayes or Gagne, like just have a run right now. And I feel like I have the confidence for it. I got the team around me, got the family around me, and I feel like it's possible. I just got to put the pieces together and hope that it works.
And for you, this is, of course, just the one-off race in the super sport category. Why come out and do it year after year?
It was fun. I love Daytona. I mean, Frank Kelleher, he brought me out for the 500, and we had a good time here. And he just, made me feel even more like this was a, place for me. Like, it's just, I feel like I have my name cemented here now, and he shows that and makes me feel that, and just feels like an even more special place to come to now. Bobby said something, a couple months ago, like, how bad do you really want to do this? Because it's a lot of money just to come for one race. And I was like, we got to do it, man. I don't care what I got to do. Like, I'll go. I don't take my bonus, take whatever you want. Like, I just want to come and do this event. So it's super special, and I hope it gets. It seems like it's getting back to what it used to be, which is really cool. We got a lot of people from overseas coming over, and even more that write me just asking, hey, what team could I contact to get on over there? So it's neat, like seeing that interest from other riders, and in World Superbike and British Superbike, Moto2, like a lot of guys just write saying, what's a good team to get on? Who can I talk to? So I think it's growing, and just hoping that it gets even bigger in the future.
It's a fun, can't miss event. We're happy to have you out here this weekend. We'll see if Josh Herrin can make history going for 3 in a row.
No wheel spin. Here we go. This is it. Marias has a look over his shoulder. Up to the high banks we go. Here comes Paasch. Now he's showing the legs of the Triumph. He's dropping down. Josh Hayes is there as well. Marias is hung out to dry all alone up top. Now it's Paasch trying to find position. Hayes, he's going to have to move out of the way. Who's going to have it? Here we go. The drag to the checkered flag. Cameron Peterson up the inside. Here comes Paasch around the outside. And it's Paasch who will take victory by 7/1000ths of a second. Unbelievable. Wow. And the triumph of Paasch denies the trio of Yamahas the top spot at the Daytona 200. Well played.
And this weekend, not a points-paying race for the Supersport category, but when we get down to Barber Motorsports Park, that's where the motivation season kicks off, followed by Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, then to Road America, 2 races at Ridge Motorsports Park, followed by WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, all the way to Virginia International Raceway. Back on the schedule this year. Can't wait for that one. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course back again. Circuit of the Americas will be in the fall, followed by the championship round at New Jersey Motorsports Park. It's going to be a fantastic season in Supersport. But again, here at the Daytona 200, no points being paid. This is a winner-take-all event. One of the riders familiar with that is Brandon Paasch, a two-time winner here at Daytona. But Brandon, 11 days ago, you posted on social media that you were still looking for funding to be able to come out and get this, to be able to have this opportunity. How humbling has this experience been?
Yeah, I'm just stoked to be here, to be honest. I got let go from my previous deal 2.5 weeks ago and wasn't planning on doing this race even with that contract and stuff. And first thing was first, I love doing Daytona. This is one of my favorite events, coming out here. And yeah, that was my first goal, was like, all right, I'm free now. Let's go try to lock something in and go racing. And unfortunately, that costs money to go racing right now. So yeah, it was kind of just like, hey, if anybody wants to see me race, kind of deal. Like, we need some support, otherwise we're not going to make it. And yeah, luckily a couple people stepped up and helped me out. And then my savings account kind of came into play there pretty good. But yeah, I'm just excited to be here.
Do you feel a little extra pressure going into this weekend, losing, you know, your ride a couple weeks ago, to try to have a really good result for a team that might be looking for a rider going into the 2025 season?
I wouldn't really consider it pressure. I think it's more just like kind of just show some people what's up, show some people that they made mistakes. And, you know, that's kind of my whole thing is I don't think I'm really going to get a ride even if I go out there and win it. So it is what it is. Just go out, win, do the job, go home, go back to work, and focus on me.
When you're in that position of losing a ride and now not knowing what you're going to be doing after this weekend, does it affect the way you perform out on the racetrack?
Honestly, it just makes me more fired up. I want to go prove people wrong and show that I should be on the grid and I shouldn't be sitting on the couch. That's kind of my whole deal right now, is like, I want to be racing, but at the same time, like, the sport's tricky right now. You got to bring some money to teams, and unfortunately some people don't have money. So here we are. We're just showing up, racing whenever I can. I've been trying to line some stuff up, hopefully go race either Super Stock or Super Sport. I don't know. I just want to be on the grid. That's all.
We take a look at the winningest riders here at the Daytona 200. Mentioned already Brandon Paasch on that list. He himself has been able to earn 2 of them. Josh Herrin, a 3-time winner, and then you have Danny Eslick there as a 4-time winner at the Daytona 200. I'm looking underneath your pink hoodie there. Is that that's the Rolex, isn't it?
Yeah, this is one of them. The other one's still brand new. I only wore it to Razzles the night I won it and then put it away in the box. So hopefully we'll win a third one this weekend and put that one away as well.
It's one of the trophies in motorsports that you can't go out and buy it. You have to win that one. How much more special is it?
Oh, I'll never get rid of these things. I'm kind of hoping I get buried in them.
Speaking of Daytona, winning 2 races here, you know, it's such a hard race to win. How are you able to always put yourself, seems like you're not even in the race, and then the last lap, there's the 96, able to put himself in the right spot as the race winds down? Yeah,
it's kind of one of those things, like, you know, the race is so long, you got to get through those 2 pit stops, and then if you're in the battle, you know, if you play it right, you can win the thing. And my whole game plan always is just stay in the fight till the end and try to get better track position than everybody else, try to time it right. And I grew up racing the Moto3 bike, so I had really good drafting experience racing in Europe, you know, as a younger kid, and that kind of comes into play around here. The draft works from, you know, pretty far back, and you can kind of time it right. And yes, something about sucking my way up into the draft, and I don't know, man, I just figured out that timing pretty early coming here, and I don't know, I seem to always be there, so.
The smile on your face says a lot. You cannot win this race if you're not out there competing in it. You've put everything on the line to do that here this weekend. Can't wait to see how it unfolds.
Thank you, guys.
It's a great shot looking across the racetrack right now at Daytona International Speedway. Here, the World Center of Racing. We've already talked about the 4 different categories they're going to have on the racetrack as part of this Daytona 200 weekend. And with that, we bring in the extra manpower that will be be both on pit lane and then joining us in the broadcast booth over the course of the weekend as well. Current World Superbike commentator, MotoGP reporter Steve English, coming out for your first taste of the MotoAmerica paddock. Welcome.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here this weekend. Daytona's always been one of those events that, for me, has always been a special event to see from abroad, but it's nice to come here and experience it.
It's been a while since you've been to Daytona or even a MotoAmerica race, so what are you looking forward to going into this weekend?
Yeah, for me, I came here in 2012 whenever I started out my career as a journalist, and it was just to go to something different. And I'm excited to be back here for it because I love the invitational nature of the 200. The fact that we've got riders coming in from the Isle of Man TT, from lots of different championships to come in. And then there's the team element as well. It's, at the end of the day, the pit stops last year were pivotal, and I think that's something that makes it unique as well.
When you're covering racing over in Europe, and then you come over and you've got to learn the riders, you've got to learn the teams, you've got to learn the bikes, you've got to learn the rules packages. What has been the biggest eye-opener about what happens here in MotoAmerica?
I think for me, coming across, what was most interesting was probably just to go down and have a look at the baggers, because it's a class that generates a bit of interest in Europe just as something totally different. And then when you look at the bikes, you know, whenever I'm used to working in World Superbikes, and then in the past MotoGP, they look more GP bikes than anything you see in a production series. So that was quite an eye-opener. And then the Hooligans as well, because obviously for Twins Cup, for Supersport, for Superbike, we're used to seeing bikes of that nature in Europe. But when you see something that's very American, it's really cool to see.
Speaking of not seeing a bagger before, when you see those bikes and you see how far they've come along, it's pretty wild. You try to explain it to the fans that these things are like super bikes, and you come here and see one for the first time, it's true.
Yeah, like everything on its trick. You know, you look at the amount of carbon fiber on it, you look at all the parts, and it looks like a full race bike, which I wasn't expecting because it just looks so big. But I'm excited to see what they're like in a race trim as well, particularly here because the draft is so important. It will keep it close, and you look at the entry list for it as well. There's 7, 8, 9 guys that you look at and you say they could easily be the winner in it, so that makes it exciting as well.
I can't wait to hear your take on everything at the end of the weekend. We're very much looking forward to sharing the broadcast booth with you here this weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited for the weekend.
Lots of great stories to unfold here this weekend, not just as part of the Daytona 200, but also in the championship classes that are kicking off here this weekend. Twins Cup out on the racetrack right now. We'll talk to Alessandro DiMario, the Twins Cup champion, just a few moments, but also we have Mission, King of the Baggers. We've already heard from Kyle Wyman this morning, but we also have Mission Super Hooligans. Cory West, the reigning champion in that category, in that class, has continued to grow over the course of the last couple of seasons. Now it is a 5-round, 10-race championship kicking off here this weekend, and with a brand new manufacturer that is going to be out on the racetrack. That is Arch Motorcycles that will be out there with Cory Alexander for the championship season. Joined now by Arch Racing co-owners Gard Hollinger and Keanu Reeves. Good morning and welcome to MotoAmerica.
Thank you. Good morning.
Gard, now you've been building motorcycles, custom motorcycles, for a number of years. To get a motorcycle now ready to go out to the racetrack, what's been different?
I guess timing is the main thing. You know, the race happens on race day, and so you don't have the luxury of taking your time, right?
Yep. You have to get the bike up to speed. You've got to get it ready. You've got to get it ready for the rider. What kind of challenge is that?
Yeah, I guess part of it, you know, Cory's a tall rider, so making sure that it fits him physically, ergonomically is part of it. But we're also, you know, we're a young manufacturer. We're brand new to racing, and so I think the challenge of turning our street bike, our cruiser, into a race bike has sort of added to the limited time frame that we've had to do it.
Now, you've been building the bikes for a number of years, but Keanu, you've been a fan of motorcycle racing for a number of years, and coming out here to the MotoAmerica paddock, why now?
Why now? Arch Racing. You know, it's really brought us here. It's very exciting to be here. I've never been to this facility, this track, and for us to kind of debuting, you know, in Daytona is like, what? But it's really exciting.
Now, the Super Hooligans category, that certainly fits the bikes that you guys build and just the custom nature of them. But when you think about it as a racing class, I know, Keanu, you've done a number of track days and things yourself. When you think about it as a class, what's so exciting about it?
I think how open it is. You know, just the opportunities it's giving to different, you know, teams, people to go race. I think it's really cool. It's letting us participate, and you know, so it's just, I don't know. I think that opportunity is really cool, and you know, and it lets established teams. And are we privateers? Are we a privateer? What are we? Independent? We're an independent
somewhere in
team.
between. Yeah.
An independent team. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what our motorcycle can do, and also where we fit in the grid. Like, where are we? And yeah, fingers crossed.
Now, part of where you fit all comes down to who you ultimately put on the motorcycle. You mentioned Cory being a taller rider. When you look at the crop of professional motorcycle racers that are here within the United States, how did the two of you come together to decide who was going to take that bike to the grid?
Well, you know, we've had a sort of a casual relationship with Cory for a number of years, and we've kind of helped him behind the scenes as a personal sponsor, and so we've just grown to really like him and appreciate him as a rider. And I think in terms of somebody who can help us develop, he's been really valuable, you know, his input.
What are your initial impressions? Keanu mentioned never having come here to Daytona, but when you walk the garages and you see all of the teams and you see the machinery that's out there and what these manufacturers are able to develop, what's your impression as a bike builder yourself?
I mean, you know, the first Hooligan race that I came to was Laguna Seca last year, and I was really impressed with how much energy and effort they're putting into it. Personally, I like the class. It kind of reminds me of maybe where, you know, even the superbike class was in the 80s or something, 80s and 90s maybe. This idea of being able to sort of take a bike off the showroom floor and take some stuff off it, put some stuff on it, and the accessibility, I think, that it offers too. I mean, the size of the class, there's like 54 entrants.
Yep.
That's amazing.
It's seen incredible growth over the last couple of years. The fans always come out in droves just to look at the bikes just in general. Mention the fact that this is a championship season, though. Keanu, when we look at the 5 different rounds, the 10 races of competition, what are your expectations?
To have fun.
That's what it comes down to, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, I hope we do well, of course. You know, but yeah, just to have a great experience. Looking forward to the journey, and yeah.
You've been on 2 wheels. I know.
A couple of
track
times.
days a couple of times. But you've also done some racing on 4 wheels as well.
Yeah.
Is there any thought being given to you actually getting out onto the Hooligans grid yourself?
No. No, you see how Gard is laughing. He understands the complete preposterousness of that concept.
Either one of us.
More preposterous for me than you. But no, I look forward to one day hopefully riding our motorcycle somewhere, somehow, but not today.
Not today, and not in competition. Gard, when you think about the championship season and the development that there can still be on this motorcycle, where do you think you guys can really learn the most?
Oh, I mean, I think, you know, the track time and how much the rider has to push the motorcycle in the race is invaluable to us. And we're like 6 or 7 weeks into the development of this race bike from a street bike. And so I think hopefully we'll see our growth happen quite a bit, and maybe by mid-season we'll really be sort of getting our stride, hopefully.
Cory himself is a great personality. He's always fun to have around in the paddock area. What has he brought to your team?
Oh man, he's helped us tremendously, even from the beginning, just sort of helping understand how to put the team together. I mean, he hasn't just been a rider, he's really helped us put the whole team together and manage the team. He's had a massive amount of input into the look of the team. Keanu and I and the rest of the Arch team kind of came up with a different color scheme than we usually have, And I think Cory was a little shocked, but he also was
Arch
very much
Genta.
on board.
Yeah.
Arch-Genta, we're calling it.
Arch-Genta, that's the pink that we're seeing, and certainly has been a color that Cory has had on his helmets for a number of years. Again, Arch Motorcycles, Arch Racing, joining the Mission Super Hooligan category for this 2025 Mission Super Hooligan Championship season. There we go. Let's go. Welcome to MotoAmerica. It's great to have you guys out here.
Thank you.
As we go back to race 2 and Cory, the title on the line, Alessandro DiMario there leading the points and also starting from pole position. You see Rocco Landers there at the good start. He was one of the only other riders up for the title. You see he gets aggressive really early on, knowing that he must win this race if he wants a chance for this championship. And you see Alessandro DiMario right there, Rossi Moore as well. Looked like a 3 or 4 rider battle early on, but Alessandro DiMario able to use the draft going down to the back straightaway. See Dominic Doyle also with a really good run early on as these guys were going back and forth as they were battling for second, third, and fourth. Alessandro DiMario was starting to slowly pull away there. You see, look at Dominic Doyle, Rocco Landers. You see Rocco was starting to kind of slow down a little bit, losing a couple spots. We were wondering if he was having issues, and then the back straightaway was confirmed he was having issues, and Rocco was out of the race and his championship was over. And now it was all about the championship leader and Alessandro DiMario dominating the weekend, starting from pole, leading every lap of the race and able to get the race win. Not only that, getting his first MotoAmerica championship as well.
On the way to winning that championship for Alessandro DiMario, he finished either first or second in the final 7 races of the season. Joining us now, Alessandro, how did you celebrate that title?
Went back home, celebrated with my friends and family. And I mean, not much. I was really happy. We ate some food and, celebrated. I just hung out with some friends from school. Not many people know that I race, but some of my close friends do, so I celebrated with them. They're actually watching, but yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, I was really happy.
Jamie mentioned the run you went on toward the end of the season. What was the big difference toward half of the season where when you went on that run, almost unbeatable?
Well, I feel like Daytona, it was a weird place to start from since it's really different from any other track. So it took a little bit to get used to the bike. But since it was the first season, we were adjusting the bike along to make it better and better. So then when we got to, I want to say like Barber and Road America, the bike it felt perfect. So we got everything right, and then from then on, it just felt like every piece was put together. So.
And now you come into a new season with that #1 plate, but you have to start back here at Daytona again. How much more comfortable are you now?
I know my way around way better than last year since it was the first time, but it's a weird track. It's really, different from any other place. So, and especially in the morning when it's cold, they don't ever use the infield. So it's really dirty. It's really slick. So you just need to adjust to the conditions in the morning.
Speaking of the conditions, it's cold this morning and also really windy. You're one of the only classes that's been out already. How is the track, and can you feel the wind here on the banking?
You can definitely feel it. It was pulling on the last straightaway. It was pulling towards the wall, so it got kind of sketchy. But it wasn't too bad. I think the wall kind of covers it. So you really felt it down on the start-finish line. But other than that, it wasn't really like a big issue. It was more like the cold and just the track being really slick. But it'll be a completely different track in the afternoon. So.
To that point, one of the things we talked about earlier on in this preview show is the fact that the Le Mans chicane is different this year. Having now had that track experience, what was it like?
Before, you could go over the first curb, which in the morning when it was really cold, it got really sketchy. But now it's not as bad, but you can't go over the curb, so you lose a little bit of time. I think it's probably about a second slower, but you can go over the last curb still, so it's a little slower, but you can still get the run up on the banking pretty good.
Last year coming into Daytona, you was the rookie moving up a class. You go into this year with the #1 plate, you got the target on your back. How's that feel going into the season?
It's no different. Just gotta work just as hard. It's hard. It's easy winning a championship, but it's hard, keep winning. Like, you got to keep working hard and keep winning. So that's all I got to worry about now is winning.
Let's take a look at the 2025 championship season schedule for the SC Project Twins Cup Championship. Of course, 2 rounds of competition here at Daytona International Speedway, followed by Barber Motorsports Park in April. Get a month off in May, going to the Ridge Motorsports Park in June, and then WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca in July. August, we go back to Virginia International Raceway, one everyone is looking forward to, and then wrapping up the championship season at New Jersey Motorsports Park in September. Alessandro, when you look at that schedule, what rounds are you most looking forward to?
I really like the Ridge. I was there a couple years ago, and I felt really good. I'm also looking forward to Laguna. I've never been there, but you know, it's an amazing track. I played it a lot on video games growing up, so I can't wait. And also, you know, I like Barber, so I'm glad it's still there. I'm a little bummed about Atlanta. I really like Atlanta too, but we get a little extra rounds in the West Coast, so that's good.
What about going into the year being on the same bike again? How much more going into the year do you feel more comfortable?
Well, I feel like I'm getting faster and faster as time goes. So obviously I feel a little more comfortable than last year. But you know, the bike's perfect. The team's been doing a great job. So they're always putting a bike that's like the best performance it can be. So.
Well, with you being stronger, you being faster, another year of experience, as well as the team having another year of experience, everybody else better watch out. Our reigning champion in Twins Cup, Alessandro DeMario, thanks for joining us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
See Lake Lloyd right in the middle of this racetrack. Roger, take us around Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, what a unique track, all the way down into turn 1, hard braking into there. Wide open all the way to turn 3, and probably the slowest corner on the track. Really hard braking, hairpin. That turn 4 kink is almost wide open for these guys, and then into turn 5, the second horseshoe. And going up to turn 6, a really important corner there, not to rush the corner entry, but get a good run out of there, because you see the banking around 7 and 8 is wide open all the way down into turn 9, which is a great passing zone. We've talked some this morning already about the chicane where they've made some changes. So I think we're going to hear some riders talk about that this weekend. It's going to be a little bit tighter on corner entry. So, you know, it's going to be a little bit slower, a bit more passing opportunity, but the chicane is one of the most important corners on this track, because that is the run as you see them getting up the banking there, and you're wide open all the way through the start finish line. So that chicane is going to be different. Riders going to be really focusing on how to get through there the best, because the run to the flag is the most important part.
We've already heard some of the riders say that particular section of the racetrack definitely going to be slower, but allowing the speed to get back on to the front straightaway for the drafting. 4 different classes here at Daytona for the 200 weekend. Roger, now that we've heard from competitors in all 4, what stories are you following?
Well, I think the big stories following is just riders in different classes and different expectations. And, you know, we heard a lot of riders talking about this morning, maybe off air a little bit, about the weather, about it being a little bit cold today, and also being windy as well. So it's going to be interesting to see, and I'm looking forward to see, you know, the Daytona 200, just such an iconic race, so I'm looking forward to it.
We talked to Josh Herrin, mentioned the fact that history could possibly be made this weekend, going for 3 in a row. What kind of a challenge is that?
It's a huge challenge. The Daytona 200 is so much competition there, but also you got to think about, it's more than just any other race. There's pit stops, there's pit lane speed limits, there's tire changes, there's going to be lappers. So it's going to be, there's a lot that has to go into winning. It's the hardest race to win, but if anybody can do it, it's going to be Josh Herrin.
The most unique racetrack that we have on the MotoAmerica schedule. 4 different classes here this weekend. Thank you for joining us here for the preview show. We'll be back with live qualifying right after this.